making this little addendum to my replay because there are a couple of things that I wanted to discuss, and those are relating to why I have replaced Vitruvius with Sho'syl in this fight. In the previous season, in the Legendary 4 fight against Magnus, I was using Vitruvius instead of Sho'syl, but I've switched back to Sho'syl for this one. So why is that? Well, it's for two main reasons, essentially. Now, the first is that Magnus, when he's at Legendary 5, the Gaze of Magnus, it can do up to 4,300 damage. So, once Ro has built up 2 stacks of Gaze of Magnus, I haven't done the exact maths, but I think it's going to be about roughly 30 to 40% chance of just killing Ro outright, even from full health. See, my Ro, when he's at full health, he has 8,234. And that's with a fully maxed out mantle as well. So that's the maximum health that Ro can have. So obviously I don't want to take a chance on Ro being killed by 2 stacks of the Gaze of Magnus. And that is the key difference between this fight and the Legendary 4 fight. In the Legendary 4 fight, Ro, he can quite easily tank 2 hits from the Gaze of Magnus. However, he does need to be at full health beforehand to be able to comfortably do that. And that is sort of where Vitruvius comes in, because you can't always rely on being able to heal Ro with Actus. So Vitruvius can come along and get Ro up to full health if you're not able to, if he's been injured and you're not able to with Actus. So that's a good reason for having Vitruvius. That's just kind of null and void here. At Legendary 5, Ro can tank 1 hit from the Gaze of Magnus perfectly well, so that's kind of what I base my attacks around, is that I'll wait until the third to last round to start attacking with Ro. He'll get the Gaze of Magnus put on him at the end of a turn. At the end of the next turn, he'll be hit by it once, and then you go into the final turn, so he won't be hit by it again, and I get 3 full turns of damage out of Ro without risking him being killed, really. So yeah, that's, I think, a pretty good reason to have Sho'syl here. The other reason is that the Skitarii, they have a propensity, obviously, they do the most damage from 2 range from an enemy, so they want to stand at 2 range from Magnus. However, his Firestorm of Tzeentch's Firestorm, it now does so much damage that it is basically guaranteed to kill them if they're not being buffed by Tan's Protector mode. So without the extra armor, they're just toast. Even with it, I think they're still toast anyway. Unless, well, certainly at the level I have it at, which is only giving plus 400 armor. I think if he had it giving plus 800 armor, then Skitarii around him could technically survive the damage from this ability when it's only doing 3 hits, but even then I think it's touch and go. And obviously you don't want to be switching to Conqueror mode, Protector mode when you want to be using Conqueror mode and trying to spawn more Skitarii. You know, it's all very well and good that Vitruvius really boosts Ro's damage output by giving him that extra hit, but if all your Skitarii are dead and you have no other summons to fall back on, it doesn't really matter how much damage Ro is doing per activation of his passive if his passive isn't getting activated at all. So that's the other reason for having Sho'syl. His summons, they give something to fall back on if and when your Skitarii get killed by Tzeentch's Firestorm, which is what's about to happen here, so just show that happening. So even though I've got 2 Skitarii at full health adjacent to Tan, well, not adjacent to Tan, sorry, in the fire ring, you'll see that they meet a swift end at the hands of the ability. You get through all of the attacks first. Yeah, and Sho'syl as well, you do have the advantage of his drones being quite obstructive to Magnus's movement, whereas Vitruvius might not necessarily be. And his additional range allows him to stay quite far away from Magnus and block him as well. So see there, the Skitarii just got wiped out. There was no chance of them surviving that, but now, because I have all these sniper drones that are now sort of huddling near to Sho'syl, I can manipulate things in such a way that I can now make use of Conqueror mode to get 3 extra attacks out of it every time it's used, which I certainly wouldn't be able to do if I was only using Skitarii here. If I was only using Skitari, I'd have to either put Tan adjacent to just the one of them, or I'd have to put him adjacent to Magnus and risk him being killed by either Tzeentch's Firestorm or that, and then some other attack that then follows it up. So yeah, anyway, that's just my rationale here. Not much more to say, and I should have played out the whole of this replay already in this video, so I'm just going to stop here.